Hey guys, my name is Sierra and I'm a nutritionist who's passionate about making health enjoyable and accessible for everyone. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make 3 healthy dinners in 15 minutes or less. So let's go ahead and get started with these recipes. In this first recipe, I'm going to be making chicken tacos, and I'll also be showing you how to make a plant-based version using tempeh as well. So to get started, we will start by preparing the chicken by cutting it into fajita-style strips. Then you'll take your strips and add that to a bowl, and to that bowl you will add your taco seasonings and then drizzle some oil over. I like to use avocado oil because it does better under higher temperature cooking. Once you've added your seasonings and oil, go ahead and mix that really well with your hands, making sure that the seasonings are really evenly distributed. Then you're going to add the chicken to a skillet over medium heat, give the chicken a good stir and cover it, and while that's cooking, we'll get started on our other vegetables. For a plant-based version, we'll be using a block of tempeh. So go ahead and crumble the tempeh into a bowl, and to that bowl you'll add your taco seasonings mix and drizzle in some oil. I also recommend using a little bit of salsa or hot sauce if you have some of that on hand as well. It really enhances the Tex-Mex flavor. I didn't have that, so I just used the taco seasonings and it turned out fine too. Tempeh cooks a lot quicker than chicken, so keep that in mind when you're getting ready to cook the tempeh. You really only need about 3 or 4 minutes, and you'll just cook it over medium heat on the stove. I would recommend cooking tempeh after you've prepared all of your other sides. That way it's ready to go as soon as all your other sides are ready. For the sides, I'm just going to use lettuce, tomato, red onion, lime, and cilantro. So to get started, we will start by finely chopping up some lettuce. I decided to use romaine, but you could also use iceberg or whatever lettuce you have on hand. Once your lettuce is finely chopped, go ahead and set that to the side and we'll get started on our cilantro. I love using cilantro because it's such a great natural detoxifying herb. It can actually help to bind to heavy metals and flush them out of our body. So anytime we can support our natural detoxification using herbs, I love doing that. Next, we're going to chop up our tomato, and then once your tomato is chopped, you can go ahead and set that to the side, and then we will slice our lime into wedges. Once the lime is sliced into wedges, go ahead and set that aside and go ahead and chop up your onion. Once our veggies are cut up, that's a good time to go ahead and check on your chicken and make sure it's cooking evenly. Maybe give it a good stir and then cover it again to let it finish cooking while we move on to preparing our guacamole. Homemade guacamole is one of my favorite sides to have alongside Tex-Mex, not only because guacamole is just amazing, but also because of the health benefits that we get from avocados. Of course, we know avocados have an abundance of healthy fats, but avocados also have some other vitamins and minerals such as vitamins B, C, E, and K, and the minerals magnesium and potassium. To our bowl of avocados, we're going to add some fresh garlic, some jalapeno, some cilantro, a pinch of cumin, a pinch of coriander, with some sea salt, red onions, and tomatoes. And then we're going to add in a squeeze of lime and some crushed black pepper, and then stir that all up together. By this point, our chicken should be done, so we'll go ahead and remove that from the heat and get ready to assemble our tacos. And last but not least, we need to heat up our tortillas. I'm heating up the tortillas just using a damp cloth. And personally, I recommend using a whole grain tortilla, such as a corn tortilla or a 100% whole wheat tortilla. Some of the benefits of using a whole grain tortilla is going to be that you're getting more fiber and some more vitamins and minerals and protein as well. It's also not going to spike your blood sugar as much as a regular refined tortilla might. Once the tortillas are heated, it's time to assemble our tacos and enjoy. For this next recipe, I'm going to be making a broccoli cashew stir fry. Now personally, I usually make this recipe vegan using tempeh, but if you're a meat eater, you could also use chicken as well. So let's go ahead and get started with this recipe. We'll get started by cutting up our broccoli into bite-sized florets. I also like to include some of the broccoli stem as well for a little bit more fiber and some change of texture. Once our broccoli is chopped, we'll move on to chopping up our red bell pepper also into bite-sized pieces. Once the broccoli and bell peppers are chopped, go ahead and set those to the side and we'll get started on making our sauce. For the sauce, we're going to need ginger, garlic, some soy sauce, and some sugar. So first you're going to start by peeling the ginger and grating it into a bowl. And then to that bowl, you're going to add some garlic, sugar, and soy sauce, and give it a good stir and set that aside for a few minutes. Personally, I like to use monk fruit sweetener as a replacement for sugar because it doesn't spike your blood sugar the way that regular table sugar does. Now, if you don't want to make your own sauce or you're short on time, you could also use a store-bought sauce such as this one. Once our sauce is made, we can go ahead and get started on chopping up our tempeh. I recommend chopping the tempeh into cubes, and then once those are chopped, place the tempeh into our bowl of sauce so it can marinate while we get started on cooking our other vegetables. To cook our other vegetables, we'll start by adding the bell peppers and the cashews to a skillet, and go ahead and stir that around and let it cook down for a few minutes. Once it's cooked down for a few minutes, we'll stir in our broccoli and then cover it so that the steam can kind of cook the broccoli a little bit more thoroughly. After a few minutes, we'll stir in our tempeh and allow that to cook down for about 3 to 5 more minutes. And then after that, our recipe is ready to go. I recommend eating this recipe alongside some brown rice or your favorite noodles. If you want to add a little spicy kick, you could also sprinkle in some chili flakes or some chili garlic sauce. Last but not least, we're going to be making our basil pesto pasta. So to get started, we will add some water to a large pot and put that pot on the stove over high heat and allow the water to come to a boil while we get started on making our pesto sauce. For our pesto sauce, we'll need about 2 cups of fresh basil leaves, and go ahead and prepare those basil leaves by pulling off the thicker parts of the stems. You can leave some of the thinner stems on there because we're going to be throwing everything into a blender anyways, so it's going to get blended up nice and smoothly later. After we've prepared our basil leaves, we'll move on to pressing up our garlic. And again, you don't have to worry about finely chopping the garlic because it's all going into a blender here in a minute. After we've prepared our garlic, we'll go ahead and slice up our lemon and then get ready to blend everything together. By this point, our pot of water is boiling, so we'll go ahead and add the noodles to the pot, and while those noodles cook down, we'll go ahead and finish our pesto sauce. To food processor or blender, we'll add in our fresh basil leaves, a squeeze of lemon, our garlic cloves, about 1/4 of a cup of hemp seeds, and about 1/2 cup of extra virgin olive oil. Once we've added all the ingredients to our food processor, go ahead and blend it up until you get a smooth consistency. And last but not least, we'll go ahead and sprinkle in some sea salt and black pepper. Now it's time to slice up our tomatoes. The little bit of acidity from the tomatoes really just brings all the flavors in this recipe together. Once we've sliced our tomatoes, our noodles should be cooked to about al dente, so we'll go ahead and strain the noodles and add those noodles to a bowl. Now finally, we get to add our delicious homemade pesto sauce. Go ahead and stir in that pesto sauce and add in those tomatoes. I recommend serving this dish alongside a slice or 2 of lemon to squeeze over top to really bring out all these flavors. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed these recipes, and let me know in the comments below which recipe you're most excited to try. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more.